Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Akiko Sudano from Meadows.com in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. And thank you so much. Today, I have a card for you today. Hold on a second. Let me get myself. Great. I have a card today from the new annual catalog, and the new annual catalog will be coming out. It's right now it's open for pre-order, and it will be launching on May 4th. So everybody will be able to order from it starting on May 4th, and that's just a couple of weeks away. So that's so exciting. Hi, Chi, and hi, Karen. Thank you so much for joining me today. Now, this is the new catalog, and the card that I'm going to be making is from a new bundle in the new catalog called The Beauty of Friendship. Happy sunny. You know what, Karen? It's sunny today here for me too, and it's still a little bit cool, but it's beautiful. Hi, Debbie. Thank you so much for joining me. So the beautiful Beauty of Friendship is one of the new bundles, and it's got a bunch of trees, and it's got several different two-step kinds of stamps in it, and it's got some beautiful sentiments that are also with the stamp set. And this is from the Beauty of the Earth suite. And then there are dies, and again, you can see these are photopolymer stamps, and this is the new style photopolymer stamp set where they have the images on the thing on the back of the stamp case. And then it's got a set of die die bundle. So you've got the stamps and the dies to go with it, and you've got different kinds of tree trunks and different tree tops, and then some labels as well for the sentiments, and then some birds, and then the different outline dies that cut the outline of the treetop images. And for today's card, I used this die to cut the, here's the card for today, and I used this die to cut out the treetop, and I wanted it to be like cherry blossoms because my cherry trees are about ready to bloom, so I wanted to have something pink, and so I wanted to make this little tree scene. And with this Beauty of the Earth suite, it comes with there's a coordinating set of designer series paper called Beauty of the Earth designer series paper, and an embossing folder called the Bark embossing folder. The little birdies are so cute. Yes, Karen. So let me show you the designer series paper of the Beauty of the Earth before I actually start my card, because I really today's card I used several different pieces of the designer series paper. The paper has a lot of different leaves in it and a lot of different watercolor images as well. Let me read you the colors that are in here first. So it comes with Bumblebee, Cajun Craze, Cinnamon Cider, Early Espresso, Merry Merlot, Misty Moonlight, Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, Old Olive, and they say Whisper White as well, but it's got a white background. So you can see all these fun leaves in different colors. I really was surprised to see how well the green and the cinnamon cider looks with the Misty Moonlight. It's very, very fresh, I think. And then this is the back side of that, which I used on my card today, and it looks like a watercolor painting of the sky. So I decided to use that for my sky today. And one of the other sheets is this, where you've got all these different trees. And then the back of that is, again, you've got a watercolor look of and I used this one for my ground. So it's interesting because when I have paper like this with a watercolor texture, it gives me more texture than just having a plain piece of balmy blue and mossy meadow cardstock on it. So it gives you a little bit more depth when you go to create your images and stuff, which is why I decided to just go ahead and instead of trying to create a background, I just cut the paper for doing that. And then this is another sheet, and it's got like lots of bark looks to it. And then it's got this one, which would be, I think I've seen this one also used with the same die that I used to cut this, and give you kind of a mottled look for with a little bit of gold and some of the dark greens and stuff. And then this one is just so different. The Mary Merlot with the misty moonlight is just so pretty. Oh, did I show you the back of this one? Oh, yes, that's the back that those two go together. Yes, I love it. And then so this is has got the Mary Merlot and the Misty Moonlight, and in the back of this you've got like a lot of different greens that you could also use for die cutting these kinds of tree things with where it's just really very versatile. And then there's this one that has the misty moonlight in the back with looks like old olive to me. And this one I think would be very good for this one. Kind of also reminds me of the Forever Fern stamp set, so I'm kind of anxious to see that some of those images stamped with a background with this paper. And then on this one you've got like a pine tree forest in blue. So this to me looks like a winter sort of scene, and with splotches of snowflakes. And then this is a scene of, reminds me of fall trees, looking up through fall trees. And again, this would be pretty with this die cut. And then the back of this, oh, this has got, isn't that pretty? It's got all of the reds. I think that's Mary Merlot in the different colors with some cinnamon cider and then mossy meadow. So those are all of the different. Definitely, I think these would make great masculine cards. I think that the both the themes and the colors, because they're so strong, that they would go good with a lot of different masculine card sets. So this is the card that we're making today, and I think this is probably a fairly simple card. So let me go ahead and start with making that. Okay, so the first thing I did was I cut a piece of the sky, the Sky Designer Series paper, and it was from the back of that. And then I have this one for the ground. Now, for doing the ground, I've done a lot of cards where I've made like a sky with a ground kind of thing, and there's a lot of dies and stuff also for like cutting different ground landscapes, but I decided for today's card to just kind of do it the old-fashioned way and tear this so that it's kind of torn away so I tear it so that because when you tear it, you're going to get like the white core showing through, and I don't want to see that. So I tear it so that the core is on the piece that I'm going to discard here. So just kind of tear it away, and that kind of gives me a grass line. There's, like I said, you could do this with a die cutting thing, or with a die, or just do it the old-fashioned way and just tear it away. So I tore that, and then I'm going to adhere this to the bottom of this panel with a little bit of liquid glue, and I just want to align it straight to the bottom of the panel. So I'll just place this on there and then just kind of tap that so that my bottom is aligned, and check my sides, and check the back, make sure everything is fine. And so that's that. Now I die cut what this tree die, and there's two tree trunk dies. There's this little skinny one here, or this tiny one, and then the big one. And I decided to use the little one. Now, I'll go ahead and adhere this down to this first. So I die cut this from the bark looking paper, and I'm going to adhere this approximately, let me get my ruler. I want to adhere this approximately 1.5 inches from the edge here. From the edge here. Here we go. So I'm going to adhere this. I can adhere it with, actually, I'm going to just place this before I adhere it, because what I want to do is I want to use one of the stamp sets and make like a shadow. And this stamp is, there's this stamp that comes in the stamp set. So it, like I said, is very, very versatile. So I'm going to stamp that, and I'm going to use, this is Mossy Meadow. But I'm going to use the new Evening Evergreen ink for the shadow for this tree. And I'm going to place this about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to place the tree about here, and I'll move that up so that I can see approximately where I'm going to place that. And I'm going to ink this up and put a couple of different stamp some ink down here to give me a little bit of shade. So when with the tree comes down, so I stamp the second one after stamping off. So that gives me some shade to help ground the tree. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere the tree to this guy, and I'm going to use liquid glue. You can use liquid glue, or you can use glue dots, but I'm doing it so that it's just flat to the surface. And putting some liquid glue just in spots there, and get my little tweezers to help me flip this over and not get my fat fingers in the way. And I'll just place this right here. And that's about 1 inch, just a shy of 1.5 inches, which is, that's okay. And hold this down, let the glue set. And I think that's good. So I'm going to leave this flat like that. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and put it on a basic white mat like this. And the mat is cut just 1/8 of an inch taller and wider than the designer series paper. So I'll do that, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere it with some Stampin' Seal. Stampin' Seal or liquid glue, whichever is your preferred adhesive is fine. Now, I showed you the designer series paper, and what I wanted to do was make a spring card. I said I wanted to make cherries, but there wasn't any pink paper that was kind of springy in the designer series paper pack. So we had to solve that problem, and we're going to do that next. So there we have our thing, and we can go ahead and adhere this to the front of the card, because I have this down flat on the card, adhered just straight flat, as opposed to having it popped up with dimensionals. But you could certainly pop it up with dimensionals if you wanted. One of the other things that I was thinking that might be interesting is that before doing the adhering the designer series paper to the mat like I just did, one of the thoughts that I had was, oh, maybe that could be embossed with like the Tasteful Textile embossing folder, or maybe with the Painted Textures embossing folder. Make sure I'm opening it from the bottom. So that's another idea if you wanted to step this up even more. Because I kind of feel like, oh, I'm kind of cheating by using designer series paper for my background instead of like either painting or sponging or making another kind of background paper for this thing. So, okay, so this is ready. Now, let's go ahead and start to work on making a pink canopy for our, so that we have something that looks like cherry trees. And so I'm going to have a piece of just scratch paper on the bottom here. So this is one of the stamps in the set, and it's this stamp. It's this one right here. And I'm going to use Blushing Bride ink. And I thought about this one too. So this is like a two-step stamp. So this one has different shades in it, but this one could be used as well. And I am going to, and I have a little panel of basic white paper and my old-fashioned Stampin' Up! Stamp pad. And I am going to start with basically covering this paper, this basic white paper, with treetops. Just go over so that it's all, so it ends up being a lot of different pink colors, lots of different shades of pink, and kind of like, and I'm going to even put this upside down because I don't think you're ever going to be able to tell that it was upside down when you go and do it. So that's there. It's pretty much covered, and just stamped. I wonder if the second stamp would be okay too. Yeah. So just stamp all over, just the paper, and it kind of gives you the same kind of modeled look. You know what? I'm going to try one more in the corner here and get like a little, maybe a little darker section up there. Yeah. So that just kind of gives you a all over modeled pink look. So these are cherry blossoms. So the next thing that I'm going to do, because I have to try the new one of the new ink colors, and this is the polished pink, and it's a true pink. Yes, Karen. Yes, you can cheat every now and then. That's fine. Thank you. So, and I'm one of the stamps in here is this little spatter stamp, and it's a tiny little one here. And I'm going to use this the new polished pink, and go randomly and add some more pink splotches to it, and do it a couple of times. In various places, just kind of randomly. I think that's probably good. And I want to do one more thing because I also did the same technique for the label. So I have a little a little strip of basic white here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll put this away and pull out my Blushing Bride again, and use the same stamp set and make a little bit, make a little area here for the label. I think that this line that I stamped when I stamped the edge, that's a little bit harsh, so I'll try to use this end here because it's got more natural random lines and stuff. So one more, there we go. And so it just gives a little bit of a pink texture there. Close that up and then do a little bit, do some spatters with your pink and with a polished pink. And it's good to turn it around. And just get just kind of randomly stamp it there. Okay, so this is ready. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the this die cut from the this is called Beautiful Trees dies, I believe. So it's got, one of the things too is that you've got the ability to do 2 layers here. You've got the ability to do the random layer on top there with all the different with a different texture, and then if you wanted to get a solid color cardstock, you could put use this die to cut that out with, and then layer these so that you would have more of a look where you couldn't see through the trees to see the sky. So I wanted to have a look where I could see through the trees to see the sky, as opposed to having a solid looking kind of thing. But you could also do that if you wanted just by adding this die to it as well. And then there is this die that would be just gorgeous for cutting out lots of different, just a naked tree and stuff for like the winter time. It would be, I can't wait because I believe that will be gorgeous. So let me take this over. I'll just put that on top of there. Take this over to my die cutting machine, and I will cut this out. And I'll remind everybody that I'll have all of the sizes on my blog tomorrow morning. The cardstock cut, so you can see what sizes of paper were used for making this card. Okay, so I've cut this out, and this is that's the outside. That's trash. I'll leave that right there. And then you've got all of these little pieces that also come out with this. And I didn't really do anything but with them. But I was thinking that if you really wanted to go crazy, you could take all these little pieces and stick some more dimensionals behind them and build this up to have like 2 or 3 different layers of leaves in your trees and stuff. I think that would be really, really something nice, different. I'm going to pull all this out here, and then I'll just move this away and then get my die cut. But I don't want to save them, and so let me see here. stick this guy underneath and lift my die cut from the die. There we go. And see, that's very pretty. So you've got some splotches of darker pink and splotches of the bright pink from the polished pink. So that will go right on top there. So let's see here. Save my label. But I'll move this over to the other table so that I don't mess up my workspace worse than usual. Now, one of the things that I did kind of a boo-boo on this one, and this is like a side folding card, and this is the one I'm making today is a top folding card. When you do this, I wanted to measure this, make sure this was about 1.5 inches. This one I went with just 1 inch from the edge here, and it's just a little too close, so that this little guy, when I open my card, and then you can see the inside has got, I stamped just the tree on the inside. But you see the little edge here is going over, and it curls up. So but with this die, what you can do is you can easily say, okay, if you made a boo-boo, then just kind of just randomly cut it off so that it doesn't go over the edge. And it's fine. It works out good because everything is it's just a random set of shapes in everything. So that works out really good. So I think before I adhere this guy, and I've got 2 little birds, before I finish putting all of this together, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the label, and I'm using the thank you stamp. And then it also has the thinking of you stamp that's also very pretty, but I decided to just use the thank you, and I'm going to cut it out with the long die here. So I'm going to stamp it. I've got it mounted. I'm going to stamp it in Misty Moonlight ink. Right here. And it's just a simple thank you. And I will take this to my die cutting machine, and I will cut this one out as well. So it's just like that. I'll be right back again. Sorry about that. Crank. There we go. Now, one of the things, and Stampin' Up! Is just getting to be so good about this, is this, I don't know if you can see it, but there is an embossed edge on the label die that makes it, let me see, am I going to lose the light if I go too high? Yeah, I think so, but I don't know if you can see it. But it's like a little embossed edge there or debossed where it goes down. So that's a nice thing too. That makes it a little extra special. So next thing I'm going to do is I have a little piece of cinnamon cider ribbon, and I'm going to make, here's my card, I'm going to make that come down together with some glue dots, with a glue dot. Let's see here, let's take this guy, pull the glue dot, and then just stick it in the ribbon right here, and fold this over. There, just fold it over so that it has some sort of way to hold it, and then take another glue dot and put it again down here on the ribbon, and then we'll just, I want the label to be about right here, and it's okay if it covers the tree trunk, and we'll just put this about right here so that we have a little bit of something to accent the label. And we'll put it on with some dimensionals, some of my little half dimensionals, and just go over that like that. I think I'll stick one more right under the A here, right here, just to give me a little bit of support. I don't want to stick any dimensionals over there. And then I'll pull the covers off. And try to get this straight. I think my sample card is a little bit crooked. Try to get it straight. There we go. Yep. Now, for this guy, I'm going to just do even more surgery cutting up these little dimensionals. And I have my Yaki scissors here that are that I can cut sticky things with. And there's some of these spots are big enough so that they'll hold one of the half dimensionals, but some of them are kind of tiny. So I'm going to just stick dimensionals around and then start to cut little pieces of dimensionals so that so that they don't show through the other side. And you know, it is kind of a lot of work to cut up your dimensionals like this, but you know what, it just, I really like having it stick up, give your card a little bit of I like the effect of it, and so to me it's worth it. And then the other thing too is I have cut much thinner pieces than this one. There's you've got a lot of nice big areas where you can stick a dimensional on this die cut. So I think that's good, and I'll clean this up, and hopefully we'll be far enough away that we won't have to trim our tree. Save our tree trimming for later. There we go. That looks good. Now put this aside, bring our card down, and yeah, I think we're good. And then put our tree there. So we've got our little shadow there, and then our tree canopy there. And then I'm going to find my little birdies. And these are cut out of Misty Moonlight cardstock with, the die gives you just a pair of birds. And they're a small size bird, which is perfect. And I think if you wanted to also, I think there are other birds as well that Stampin' Up! Also has right now. I think they have a large selection of small birds if you want a different style. If you want a stamped bird that you can color, I think the ones that come to mind quickly are from the little birds from the Curvy Keepsakes set. I think those birds would are proportionally sized perfectly for for this tree as well if you wanted to do something else, have a different look. But I think this is good. So let's see, can we pull him off? Oh, come on, come on. There we go. Oop, flipped over, of course. So, and we'll put him down here. So we've got two birdies in our trees, and a little thank you. And I didn't really put any other embellishments on the card. But for the inside of the card, let's do some stamping here. So I have the small tree stamp, which is this one, and I'm going to stamp the trunk towards the bottom here in soft suede ink, and I'm going to stamp this off. So I've got ink up the soft suede ink, and I'm going to stamp this off once and then stamp it on the bottom here, kind of, so that I just have a little bit of the tree trunk, so it's a little bit softer in color. Put this stamp away, put the ink away, and we'll pull out the Blushing Bride ink again, and I'm going to use the same treetop that I used to stamp the background there for the die cut. I'm going to just ink this up, and I'm going to stamp this in full strength Blushing Bride ink, right kind of on the edge here, because I don't want it to be overwhelming in terms of the whole card. But you can still see a little bit of the gentle color of the branches. I guess that was a little bit high. I guess maybe I should have just done it a little bit lower there. That's okay. That's okay. Let me take a look at the other one. See how this one. Yeah, that one, I should have been a little more careful because I have the top misaligned. The tip of the branch is misaligned. Well, okay. You know what? I can try to do that again on the back. So let's do that. Let's try stamping the tree top first. Let's see what happens if we do it in that way. So I'll try to go like here. And that's fine. And then ink up my tree trunk. Stamp it off, and then align the tip of the tree better with the top. There we go. So that way the top of the canopy is better aligned with the top of the tree trunk. That works. All right, put all of these away and put on my Stampin' seal and adhere the inside of the card to the inside of the card base. Okay. There we go. There we go. So that's the inside of the card. And then there is the front. A little thank you, and this is called the Beauty of Friendship bundle, and it'll be available beginning March 4th. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everybody has a great week, and I'll be back next Sunday afternoon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone.